Ladies and gentlemen, you might have noticed that for the last couple weeks, the Democrats have been running around pushing this narrative that Trump's true secret plan is to screw over the middle class so he can provide tax cuts for his rich billionaire buddies like Elon Musk. Well, guess what? That entire narrative just got completely destroyed. You see, just yesterday afternoon, Trump's Secretary of Commerce, a guy named Howard Lutnick, detailed Trump's brand new tax plan for the middle class, and honestly, you guys are going to have to hear it for yourselves. So I'm going to have you guys take a listen to this clip, then we're going to have a lot to talk about.
You know, the way I think about it, we all are so used to paying taxes. We're so used to it. We have like Stockholm syndrome. You know, don't stop the Internal Revenue Service, God forbid. How about this? The rest of the world leans on our economy, breathes off our economy. Not only is our economy $29 trillion GDP, but we consume $20 trillion a year. We are the buyer of everybody's stuff. We buy everybody's stuff. So who's more important, the people who sell stuff or the people who buy stuff? So we are the buyer of everybody's commodities, products, goods and services. Everything comes from us, right? Let them pay a membership fee. We all understand that model. Let them pay. How about we, you and I, and every single person we know pay less? How about no tax on tips? How about no tax on overtime? How about no Social Security? How about all those things? These are the kind of thoughts that will change America. I know what his goal is. No tax for anybody who makes less than $150,000 a year. That's his goal.
Did you folks hear that? Right this very moment, President Trump is working on a brand new revolutionary tax plan that would completely and totally eliminate income tax for every single American in the country making $150,000 a year or less. And now, by the way, that covers 92% of Americans. This is absolutely massive. But now, let's try to really put this into perspective, okay? As things currently stand, around 40% of each year's federal tax revenue comes from Americans making $150,000 or less. So, in essence, here's the deal that's being made. The federal government collects 40% less in taxes each year, but 92% of Americans no longer have to pay federal income tax. And so, folks, let me ask you all a question here. Do you think that you can spend your hard-earned money more wisely than the federal government can? Because personally, I sure do. Especially when considering all of the waste, fraud, and abuse that the Department of Government Efficiency has been digging up as of late. But you know what? As Mr. Lutnick laid out, it's not as if the federal government would just be losing out on all of that revenue. No, Trump has a plan. But before we talk about that, I want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news coverage, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton with my daily struggle against the YouTube algorithm. But okay, folks, as Mr. Lutnick said, America is the world's largest consumer economy, $20 trillion per year, in fact. And so the reality is that every single country around the world is absolutely desperate to access the American consumer market. Why? Because they want all of us to buy their stuff. And so given all of that is the case, and it really is, it only makes sense to me that other countries should have to pay a fee to access our consumer market. If I can make a metaphor here, America is kind of like the hot girl sitting alone at the bar counter. And if you want to go up and talk to her, you're probably going to have to buy her a drink. And you know what? That's just kind of the way that it works. The reality is this: our country's wealth and our country's consumer market really is a hot commodity. So if other countries want to be able to do business with the American consumer, it only makes sense that they should have to pay a fee to access that market. Because otherwise, good luck finding a consumer market somewhere else in the world that's as large and as wealthy as ours is, because guess what? It doesn't exist. But now, I already know someone out there is going to say, what about free market economics? Trump's plan isn't free market economics. Well, here's the problem. On a global scale, free market economics doesn't really exist. The European Union, for example, imposes pretty much a flat 10% tariff on all goods made in the USA, and guess what? China does the same thing as well. So what that means is that if every other major country around the world is charging us to sell our goods, but we're not doing the same thing to them because of free market economics, Well, pretty much we're just setting ourselves up to get taken advantage of. And so, folks, when President Trump talks about trade imbalances, this is exactly what he's talking about. But okay, everyone, like I said earlier, this new massive tax cut for the middle class that Trump just proposed is sending the Democrats into a complete and total panic meltdown. And the reason why is because for weeks now, as I'm sure you've all noticed, they've been pushing this ridiculous narrative that Trump's true agenda, his secret plan, is to cut taxes for all of his crony billionaire friends like Elon Musk. And hey, if you don't believe me, take a look at this.
But one thing I think it's really important for the American people to understand that's really behind all this. Why these cuts? Why the urgency? Why is the Trump administration and Elon Musk doing this? Basically, they need to come up with trillions to fund a tax cut for wealthy people and corporations.
Folks, how absurd is that? Not only are Democrats like Senator Adam Schiff actively trying to stop the Trump administration from cutting out waste and fraud in the federal budget, but they're also claiming that the only reason that Trump wants to cut government spending in the first place is to fund tax cuts for the mega rich. Folks, this Democrat narrative doesn't even make sense, not even in the slightest. But here's the real deal. Now that Trump has presented a plan to completely cut taxes for 92% of Americans, the Democrats don't even know what to do. They don't know how to respond. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to spin this. Really, their entire narrative has just been completely destroyed. But okay, folks, here's the takeaway. Not only has President Trump completely blown up the Democrats' entire narrative about tax cuts, but he's also presenting a bold new economic vision that actually puts Americans first. Seriously, think about it for a second. What President Trump wants to do is completely get rid of income taxes altogether for 92% of Americans. He wants a streamlined America First tariff system that actually levels the playing field on a global scale. And also, he's directly cracking down on government waste, fraud, and inefficiency. All of this is completely in line with the America First vision that we all just got done voting for, and that is why the Democrats are freaking out. And folks, here's the deal. If Trump's new plan actually goes through, this would be the single biggest tax cut for the middle class in American history. So hey, here's my message to the Democrats. Good luck trying to spin this one, because between you and me, I don't think the American people are interested in any more lies or deception. But now, folks, before we wrap up with today's video, I want to say real quick that I've actually gone ahead and made a community Facebook page where I'll be posting additional news and updates as it relates to all of this stuff. So if you guys use Facebook, check out the pinned comment down below and give that page a follow. But everyone, that is going to be a wrap for today's video, so please go down below and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. Please like the video while you're down there. That is, if you like the video. Like I said earlier, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help a ton. Thank you all very much for tuning in today. And of course, as always, stay safe.